Good morning, good afternoon, good night. I'm Blackbright and I'm broadcasting out of the UK, and this is my fourth attempt tonight because the camera keeps sticking. So if it sticks again, I'm just going to throw in the towel. But basically, I wanted to talk about how the UK could be enabling foreign criminals with their Tier 1 visa. Because what happens with the Tier 1 visa? It's given to people who are wealthy business people usually, and who want to migrate their investment into the UK or other parts of the world. So what they do, they invest it in gilts and bonds through a bank, and what the UK does to reward them is to pay them back what they've invested plus interest. So say for example, I think the minimum that they can invest is 2 million. So they put the 2 million in and they get their money back with interest, plus they can apply for citizenship after 5 years. If they have 5 million, they put the 5 million in, they get their 5 million back with interest, and they can get their indefinite leave to remain in 3 years. And if they put 10 million in, they get that back with interest, and you can imagine how much interest that is, and plus an indefinite leave to remain, i.e. they can get their citizenship within 2 years. Now the problem with this is that, yes, they come in as wealthy business entrepreneurs, and they're almost treated like diplomats. So about 2 years ago, about 3,000 people came in on this scheme, the Tier 1 scheme. So that is a hell of a lot of money. 3,000 people. Anyway, they found this guy. He was actually siphoning money out, millions, to the Kazakh bank. So my point is that, is the UK enabling foreign criminals? Because this guy was a criminal. He's actually committed fraud. Now, I'm sure they haven't stuck him in any dirty detention centre for any indefinite time while they're waiting to deport him. I bet you they haven't done that. But they're doing that with our little, little small fries. They're stuck in there, and yet they haven't taken not even a fraction of what that gentleman from Pakistan took out of the country, siphoned out. It's just not fair, and it's just not right. But that's what is happening. And providing, if you've got 2 million, 5 million, 10 million, you don't even have to worry going through the bureaucracy. Up to a couple of years ago, they just walked through and, whatever. As though, like I said, like diplomats. They were just like diplomats. They didn't have they weren't answerable to anybody. And the thing is that when people tend to see rich people, they tend to place them on a pedestal. They think their doo-doo doesn't stink. They're high and mighty. And so you can't dare ask them anything. You can't ask to see this. You can't ask to see that. You can't ask them to show them. They can't show you any evidence. They just walk in and they fling down their 2 million or 3 million or whatever money they have. And these people are coming from Middle East and Africa. So you can't say they're not immigrants. So when the UK is moaning about immigrants, they're the ones who, if they're not bringing them over through Tier 1, they bring them over to Tier 2, Tier 3, Tier 4, Tier 5, whichever way they're coming in. And yet they have the audacity to blame us for being here. There's always a way. So I don't know, I get a bit frustrated with that. I really do. And when you think that when they come over here as citizens, they are allowed to bring their families, and they have every right of a citizen, so they can bring over their families. 3,000 of them can bring over their families. So don't go moaning at me and my buddies and my brothers and sisters and saying, oh, you lot coming over here and blah, 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 taking our jobs. Don't bother with that, because look, I wonder if you knew that anyway. You probably knew that already, but they call the Tier 1 visa the golden visa, and it kind of gives you a free pass into the country, and you get your citizenship. But I just thought I'd put it out there. I'm not going to keep this long because it might freeze again, and that's all for now. Bye bye.